So on the day one of this session, we discussed about different components of Selenium. So if we quickly recap what all components were there. So we have four components in Selenium: Selenium ID, Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver, and Selenium Grid. These are four components. And we also discussed about all of these, that the Selenium ID is something which is obsolete now. Mozilla has stopped the support of this. Then we also discussed about RC, and we discussed about how we switched from RC to WebDriver, and then how Selenium WebDriver evolved from Selenium 2 to Selenium 3. Okay, and then we also discussed about Selenium Grid, which is used for parallel testing. Okay, so today I'll be starting with Selenium WebDriver, in which we will start, first of all, we'll start with the environment setup, and then after that, we'll start with a very basic call flow, and we'll also start automating one of the web application. Okay, so that's what I'm going to start with. So let me start with the environment setup for Selenium. First thing you need is you have to set up the complete environment for Java. So that's already done. Okay, we have JDK and JRE on our system. So Subhanshu, for you it's left. Just after the class, we can discuss on that, and I'll help you in setting up the environment. Okay. So
Okay. Okay.
JD, okay. So first JDK and JRE is required. That's already done on our system. Then we need Eclipse on our system. So that's also done for all of us. After that, we need uh, Eclipse to be installed and up and running. So that's also done. Java path is also done for us. Next step is downloading Selenium jar files. Okay, actually Selenium in Java comes as a jar file. Jar Z. It's JAR, and jar stand for Java Archive Resource. Okay, so whatever uh, like in Selenium, like when you have to start with Selenium, whatever code is there in Selenium, they comes as jar files. Okay, so what you have to do is just go to seleniumhq.org site. This is one site. I'll ping you in chat section. Okay, now here we have this download Selenium link. Click on it. So actually this is the link from where you have to go. Okay, now here is the location to download anything. Just remember this: seleniumhq.org/download. Whatever you need, you'll be needing going forward to work with Selenium, everything will be available at this particular location. Okay, in this location, there are multiple sections which I want to refer. So the first one is this Selenium standalone server. Okay, in this section, you will get the latest Selenium jar file. So this Selenium jar file 3.53 is the latest one. Just click on it and it will start downloading. Okay. What I recommend is that keep every jar file, whatever you're going to use in your course or later or in your project, keep them in one libs folder. Okay. Though when we'll start with the frameworks, I'll also start with Maven. Okay, in Maven you'll not have to do all these things. Everything will be taken care by Maven. All these jar files, whatever I'm going to download now, everything will be taken care by Maven. So you don't have to worry about that. But for the start, I want you to start without Maven. That will help you a lot in learning. Once we'll be good in learning Selenium, well, once we are good at working with Selenium and other components, then I'll move everything to Maven. Okay, so for now, uh, I'm downloading the Selenium server standalone jar file, and in my workspace, okay, in workspace of your Eclipse, I've created one folder with name libs. So if I go to, not here, in users, work Saurabh Dhingra, and then workspace, in this I've created one folder with name libs, and I'll keep all my jar files or library files in this. It's a recommendation. Why I'm saying to create a separate folder, so that going forward, if something you need, you know a location. Otherwise, if you keep them just like that, then later on it will become difficult for you to find out. Okay, so for me this 3.53 jar file is already there, so I'll not download it. Okay, but you have to download and keep it. Now if you refer some of the references or websites, they'll ask you don't download this jar file. Okay, so you can download this also. So here also you can see that the version is 3.5.3. It also says download, so you can download from here as well. But the difference between this and this is that this particular file, the first one which I asked you to download, it's one single jar file. It keeps every other jar file in it. Okay, guys, just give me a second. I have to close the door. Just give me a second. Okay, so I was telling about the difference between the standalone jar file and the jar files which are available here. Now, what's the difference? The difference is that from here you will get one single jar file which has everything you need in Selenium, and this one, the other one, it has 40 different jar files separate. Okay, so you can download this one as well, but I recommend to download this one because maintaining one single file is better than maintaining multiple files. Okay, but choice is yours. You can go ahead with any one of the two. Okay, so for me, I'm downloading the single one and will include only that single jar file. Any questions till now? So just download that and keep it in libs for folder of your workspace or wherever you want to create. Just create one libs folder and keep every jar file in that. Okay. Now after that, after downloading this, next step is go to your Eclipse project. Okay. Now in this project, I'll be doing a right click. Now we have to include that jar file which we have downloaded in our project. That is our second step. First step is downloading jar file. Second step is including that jar file in your project. The step which I'm going to perform, they're very important. Remember them, and uh, if possible do it along with me. If not, then it's fine, you can do it after your project, after the class as well. So right click on your project name, then there is an option of build path. Go to that build path. Then there is an option of configure build path. Go to configure build path. I repeat, right click, build path, configure build path, then we'll reach to this location. If you're doing it for the first time, by default this will be open. Then select libraries. Okay, after that there is an option add external jar. Okay, so click on add external jar, and then from the navigate to the path where you have kept your jar files. Okay, so here is my jar file selenium 3.5.3.jar. Select this, click on open, click on OK. So you will see that a new folder is created in your project with name reference libraries. If you open this folder, you will see the corresponding jar file is available. Okay, so I repeat the steps. It's very easy. Right click, build path, configure build path, then libraries. You have to go to libraries, then add external jar, then navigate to the libs folder where you have kept your jar files, then select the jar file, click open, click OK. The jar file will be included in your project. Any questions, anyone? Yes, Anshu, class is recording. I mean, it's already recording. Okay, so that's what all you need to start working with Selenium. Now we are ready to work with Selenium. Okay, next thing is I'll be starting today with Chrome browser. Okay, like earlier I used to start with Firefox, but this time Firefox is not stable. Okay, there is not a stable version which is available to work with Mozilla. Maybe a couple of weeks will take to get stable. So by that time we'll work with Chrome browser, but as soon as that gets stable, I'll switch back to, I'll also tell you how to do the automation on Mozilla browser as well as on Internet Explorer. By that time, let's start with Chrome. Okay, so in your source folder, I'll create a new package and I'll name it day 5, and in this we'll be keeping today's code. Okay, in this day 5, I'll create one class. Okay, and I'll name it working with Chrome. Okay, now you all know what is a class. Okay, in yesterday we discussed about what is a class, what are uh, okay. So in this uh, in this working with Chrome, I have decided that I'll be working with the Chrome browser. Okay, and we'll be using methods from some already written code. Okay, going forward, I'll also explain you the what are the different uh, what are the different methods available in it and how to check those methods. Okay, Rupesh, you have a question. Can I know what version is currently being used in most of the companies? I mean, most stable version of Selenium. Selenium, everybody is updated to 3.5. That's what I know because in my project we have upgraded to 3.5. Okay, we have not downloaded 3.5.3, but yeah, 3.5.0 is something which we are using, and that's also stable. Selenium is stable, only Mozilla Firefox with Selenium is not stable. Rest everything is stable now. Okay, so I'll go step by step. Stop me wherever you feel that I'm going fast or slow or you're not able to understand, because whatever I'm going to teach now next 1 hour will make the base. Okay, so next step is what you need is, see, now here first of all I'll create one variable, or you can say object, of a class whose name is Chrome driver. Okay, so I've just written some word Chrome DRI and then pressed Control spacebar. As that is for the first time we are opening Eclipse, it will always go in not responding mode. I don't know why. Okay, so just wait for a few seconds. Okay, so you can see that there is a suggestion which we are getting, and the name of the class is Chrome driver. Look at what it is written after it. It is saying org.openqa.selenium.chrome. Okay, so this is one class which we are going to use. As soon as I selected that, you can see that a line gets printed automatically. It's a feature of Eclipse that it imports the class file which I'm going to use. Okay, so this particular class file org.openqa.selenium.chrome driver, I'm using this from Selenium jar files. That's why it is telling my class that this whatever class you're trying to use, you'll find it here at this particular location. Okay, so where is this location? If I go to my reference libraries, in that you see a Selenium server standalone file. If I just expand it, you will see that lots of things are there. Okay, just try to find this. See, we have org. So if I go to org, then OpenQA. If I go to org.openqa, here is the OpenQA, then Selenium, then Chrome driver. So openqa.selenium.chrome, here is the one. Here is that package. If you expand it, you will find that particular class. Look at here, the name of the class, Chrome driver. And here we have, where is that? Here we have that Chrome driver.class. So this is the class file which we are using in our project. Okay, clear? Did you get the idea from where we are using this Chrome driver class? Okay, now what I'll do, lots of code is already written in that. I'll create its instance. Instance means creating a variable. Okay, so I created one variable with name driver. You can use any name, but this is like become a standard that everybody uses this driver word. You can give it any name you want. So I just created one instance of a class called Chrome driver. Okay, so this specifies that I'm going to work with a Chrome browser. Okay, now I'm just declaring it. Initialization I'll do uh, next. Okay, so before I initialize, I'll create one method, public void. So for now, just leave this public word because we have not discussed about this public. But if I give you a small idea why this public keyword is used, this public keyword is to give access to this particular class everywhere in your project. Okay, so this is known as one access modifier. There are four access modifiers. We'll discuss them in detail in Java. Maybe whenever we'll have our next class of Java, we'll discuss about them. For now, you can just remember that public keyword is something which makes this method to be accessed everywhere in the project. Okay, for now, we'll keep all our methods as public. And I'll name my first method as invoke browser. Okay, and then a curly brace start, curly brace stop. So I'm going to create one method which does not return anything and it does not take any arguments. Okay, now I have to initialize my Chrome driver. So how you will initialize? Initialization will happen like this: driver equal to new and then Chrome driver. So the way we learned yesterday. So what we have now here, if you look at, if you look at, there are multiple Chrome driver constructors are there. We have one without any argument. We have one with an argument capabilities. We have one with an argument Chrome driver services, Chrome options, many things. Okay. For now, we only need the first one. Others will see once will become good in Selenium. Okay, so for now, just take the first one where we are simply initializing our Chrome browser. Okay, so this is to initialize the Chrome browser. Now, few things here. If you remember yesterday, we saw that initialization, declaration, initialization, and instantiation can be done in one single line. But here I have done in two steps. Reason why I'm not doing this in the one line is because before I initialize my Chrome driver, I want to set one property file, and that property is system. I'll explain you what it is. System. There is a method called system.setProperty. Okay, you have to take second method. Here you will give one key, and key is, remember this, it is WebDriver dot Chrome dot driver. This is one variable which your Chrome driver class use. And what is the value of it? The value of it is a path of what? Path of a exe file which your Chrome browser uses to interact with Chrome browser. Okay, so here on the seleniumhq.org/download, if you come below, there is something known as third-party drivers and bindings. In this particular section, you will see that all the browsers are listed. So the second option is Google Chrome driver. Go to that. Okay, and here you find the different versions of Chrome driver exes. Why this exe is needed? See, Selenium is a tool which is developed to work generically with different browsers. Okay, now like your Selenium can work on Chrome, it can work on Mozilla, it can work on all the major vendors of browsers. Okay, now Selenium, when it was developing, it has written methods in a generic format. Okay, but the way things implement on different browsers are different. Now Selenium has become so famous that these major vendors of browsers like uh, Mozilla, like Chrome, all these major vendors of browsers, they are providing some EXEs to support Selenium. That means they provide EXEs. They they gets the message from your Selenium, understands that, and then execute on your browser. Okay, so that's how this exe, uh, that's how you can see that the Selenium has become so famous that these major vendors are supporting Selenium. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to download the latest version, or if you have some older versions of Chrome, then you can download the respective jar file, exe file, and from where you will get, here you can see that there is a link, all versions available in downloads. So just click on this downloads and you will be navigated to this path. I'll give you this path directly in the chat section. Now here, if you go below, you can see that different versions of Chrome driver are available. The latest one is 2.32. If you look at others, 2.31, 2.30, and they have also mentioned which browsers they support. So here they are saying uh, Chrome driver, there are many bug fixes were done, so various updates to work with Chrome 58 plus. So it also supports Chrome 60 plus. Okay, so different versions of Chrome browsers are supported. Here it has everything to work with Chrome 57 plus and so on. Okay, so just download the latest one. It supports all the older versions as well, and the whatever is the latest available, that also. Okay, so just download the latest one. Latest one is 2.32. Just go to this path and download it. Now, one very important point, people get confused here, that if you look at, there are multiple versions available of Chrome driver. Like one is available for Linux 32, one is available for 64 of Linux, Mac 64, but Windows 64 it is not there. Okay, so don't worry, this Windows 32 works absolutely fine with Windows 64 as well. So just download this uh, if you're working on Windows, or download the just above it if you're working with Mac, and if you're working on Linux, download the respective one. Okay, for me it's Chrome driver with Windows, so I'll just download this one. Download it, keep it in your libs folder. So again, I'll go to my libs folder. Okay, in your workspace, wherever you have created, just navigate to that path. So for me, it's in my workspace, libs, and here I have the latest version of Chrome available. Okay, now navigate to this path. Here you can see, like, it will come as a zip folder. Somewhere you can see zip folders are there. You have to unzip it. Here is the zip one. Okay, you have to unzip it. If you open it, you will find this Chrome driver.exe. Okay, now you have to give the complete path of this exe, and the variable name is this. So what we are doing is we are setting the value of this variable with the exe of Chrome. Okay, and the exe of the path of the exe of Chrome is this. I'll copy it. Okay, paste it here, put another slash and give this complete name. So the name is Chrome driver.exe. I'll copy it, paste it here. Okay, any questions till now? See, it's still giving me an error. Now what is the error and how to resolve it? Okay, see the error it is giving, if I hover over it, look at what it is saying. It is saying invalid escape sequence. Valid ones are /b /t/n and so on. So in Java or in most of the programming language, if you write anything with a slash and a letter, like here /u/s/w, what are these things? They are like Selenium, sorry, not Selenium, Java tries to understand them or tries to consider them as some special character, or you can say escape character. Okay, so to represent slash in Java, you have to, instead of single slash, you have to always use double slash. So what I'm doing is I'm replacing all single slashes with all single slashes with double slashes. I'll repeat what I've explained now. See, in Java or in any programming language, this slash n, it is considered as a escape character. Okay, so I'm just commenting it out. So what it is considered at? It's these slash n, then we have slash t, then we have slash. There are many more, and they are considered as escape character. Now, what is escape character? Escape characters are some special symbols. Like if you see slash n, this is for new line. So whenever you will use this single slash, it will create a new line for you. Similarly, if you see this slash t, whenever a slash t encounters, it means a tab. I mean a space of tab, a space of tab. Okay. So all these are certain escape characters we have. Okay. So whenever Java sees anything with a single slash, it tries to consider it as an escape character, but here this is not an escape character. So to nullify the effect of escape character, we put an extra slash before it. So wherever in Java you will see that we have to work with a path, at all those locations, instead of single slash we'll put double slash. Okay, so here you can see instead of single slash I'm using double slash, here also I'm using double slash, and so on. Everywhere I'm using double slash. Okay, and this sets the property of this variable. The name of the variable is webdriver.chrome.driver, and this particular variable will be used by your Chrome driver internally to communicate with this exe file. And why we need this exe file? Because Selenium is written in a generic way to interact with different browsers. Those browsers are supporting some exes which understands the method from Selenium and then executes on your browser. So that's what you have to do. Any questions till now? Okay, so now we are ready to start with the Chrome browser. Let's see what is the next step. Next step is that after I initialize this Chrome driver, yes, Anil, you have any question? Sorry.
Yeah, just quickly, these settings and things that you set for running Selenium.
Mhm.
Now, is this normally always set, or do we need to manually set this for every uh, program, or is this just one-time setting?
Okay, very good question actually. See, currently, like you might not have seen the frameworks and all. So what happens in real-time projects is we have a one-time setup, okay, and you'll also do the same thing going forward. Okay, see, what happens in real-time projects is we have a framework ready, and in that all these things I'm doing, like downloading these jar files, then downloading the Chrome exe files, and then setting up this path, and uh, then initializing the browser. All these things you'll do it for once and forget. After that, you'll just call the method. Okay, I have to invoke a browser. I'll just call the method invoke browser. Okay, but currently we are not in a state that we can do that. For us, for starting 5 to 6 classes, till the time we'll learn Selenium, we'll do these things every time. Okay, not everything. I mean, the Selenium jar file already we have imported, so we'll not have to do it again. Then this initialization of browser, I can just copy paste this method, okay, in other classes. But once we'll start with framework, we'll do all these things for once, and after that you'll not have to do it again. Okay, but that will happen once we'll start with the frameworks. For now, yes, we have to do it again and again. But in real-time projects, it's just a one-time activity.
Okay, so in this case, why is it? Why can't we not take it as a one-time activity? because many of those functions or
Okay.
methods are already part of the Selenium jar file, isn't it? Is that how I understood?
So see this importing jar file, that's done. We'll not do it again. Okay, but this invocation
Yeah.
of browsers and all, for first few days will only learn, will like main focus of us will be to understand understand different methods of Selenium and how to automate different scenarios. Okay, that's why I'll keep each and every class separate. Once we'll understand all the scenarios, then we'll club all of them. Okay, so otherwise
Okay.
it will be like very cumbersome that you have to navigate here and there. So let's first understand Selenium. Let's first learn basics of Selenium, and then once we are ready, then we'll club everything. And that time you'll appreciate things, that how you are not writing things again and again, just using them.
Okay. All right. Understood. Thank you.
No problem. And Nishta, you're saying you just joined. Okay, so I'll just quickly tell you what we have done. We have just started with this Chrome browser, like working with Chrome. We have just downloaded the Selenium jar file, which you can download from this site called seleniumhq.org site. So seleniumhq.org. Okay, and here we have download Selenium link. Go to that, and from the first section you can download this jar file. Okay, keep it in at one location and then import that in your project. Okay, so I've already done all these things. Probably what I can do is, after this class you can share your screen and I'll help you in doing that. Okay, because it will be again a recap of half an hour. So that thing I'll help you. Currently, I just started with working with this Chrome and have initialized one variable known as driver of a class called Chrome driver, which is provided by Selenium. Once I create this variable, this object is referring to Chrome browser. Okay, but it also needs one exe to interact with Chrome browser. Okay, and you have to set one property or one path, or you can say one value of one variable, and that variable is this webdriver.chrome.driver, and the value of this will be the exe of Chrome driver, which again we have downloaded from this site. Again, I'll help you after the class, and after that I've just initialized my Chrome driver. Okay, now I'll start with today's, I mean, further things. Okay, so uh, just recall what you do when you,
Saurabh,
yeah, yes, yeah, Nishta.
Saurabh, you told web driver, right? Web driver is system defined variable.
Yeah, it's a variable. This webdriver.chrome.driver, it's an variable which is used by your Chrome driver class to use this exe. So it's a system
Okay.
defined yeah, I mean, we are defining it at system level, but for Chrome driver. Similarly, if you are going
Okay.
to
Okay.
work with Firefox, the variable name will be different. It will be webdriver.geeko.driver. If you'll work with
Okay.
IE, then it will be webdriver.ie.driver. So we'll see that later. For now, you can just remember that for Chrome, it will be webdriver.chrome.driver.
Okay. 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 Fine. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Next. Now, just think what you do when you start testing anything manually. Okay. First thing, you always identify a browser, right? So for us, browser is already identified. I have identified that I am going to work with the Chrome browser. Next step will be, I'll just open it. By double clicking will open. So these steps what we have done, they'll automatically open the Chrome browser. Okay, so some code is written. The code is written in such a way that as soon as you initialize this Chrome driver and give the path of exe, it invokes Chrome driver on your system. Okay. Third thing will be, many a times when you open your browser, maybe a Chrome browser or IE browser, then you might have observed that sometime it opens as a maximized window and sometime it opens as a minimized window, or a smaller size window like this. or another smaller size window like this. Okay, you might have observed that. What I want is, I want that whenever I open my browser, it should always get maximized. As soon as I invoke my browser, it should get maximized so that things can render properly. Okay, so what we can do is, just after this, I can initialize or I can maximize my browser. How you will do that? There is a method called driver dot. What we have to do, we have to manage what a window, and what I have to do with that window, I have to maximize. So this is one single command. What it will do, it will maximize the browser on your system. Okay, so so the method is driver dot manage dot windows dot maximize. This will maximize the window for you. Okay, any questions till now? So I'll write it here for maximizing the window. Okay, once you maximize the window, next step what I want is that when before I start executing anything, I want that uh, cookies should not affect my browsing history. Now, if any of you is working with in any project where you have some web application, you might have observed this thing that uh, you find some defect and go to your developer, and your developer says, hey, have you cleared the cookies? Have you cleared cookies and then checked the same scenario? Okay, then you say, no, I have not checked. Then you go again, and when you clear the cookies and run your scenario, many a times they run properly, right? You might have observed this. I have observed it a lot that many scenarios, especially where some changes at front end happens, your developer asks you to do this cookie clearing. Okay, now what are cookies? Cookies are some kind of files which stores your information, what you are browsing, and generally they are used to enhance the browsing experience. Okay, but at the time of testing they causes problems as well. Okay, so what we want is, we want that these cookies should not affect anything on my system. So just before we start, what we can do is we can get rid of all the cookies. Sorry, we can get rid of all the cookies, and how it will be driver dot manage what cookies, and what I have to want to do with them. I want to delete all of them. So I'll simply call a method called driver.manage.delete all cookies. What it will do, it will remove all the cookies from your browser, not physically, but from your like when you have to execute. Okay, it will not go and directly. It will not go physically on your system and delete them, but when your browser is trying to access anything, it will bypass them. Okay, it will not allow cookies to affect your browsing experience. Okay, any questions till now? In few scenarios, these cookies are important as well. So going forward, we'll also see how to use those cookies instead of deleting them. Okay, so that we'll learn later on. For now, we'll just delete all of the cookies. Any questions, anyone? Okay, now I'm done with all the settings, all my configuration, everything is done. Now I'm ready to enter my URL and press enter and navigate to the website I want. So for that, Selenium provides us a method, and the name of the method is .get. Okay, so this .get method takes one argument, and the name of the argument is URL. If you just hover over it, it tells you the type of the argument and the name. So it is saying string URL. That means it expects one URL, and that URL is of type string. So Above, I'll create one variable. Now you can create that variable wherever you like, but it should have the access. So I'll create one variable. I can give it any name. Let's say I'm giving it a name URL equal to, then you have to give the complete URL where you want to navigate to. Okay. One point to remember that you always have to give the protocol also which you are going to use, be it HTTP protocol or be it FTP protocol or HTTPS protocol. Whatever protocol you're going to use, you have to give the same. Okay, so I'll start with normal HTTP protocol and I'll say www dot, let's say QA tech hub, or let's say facebook.com. Okay, so this is the URL for me. Now I'll come below and here you can see that error is not coming now because I have defined one variable with name URL, and that URL we are passing here. So as soon as the command reaches to this particular line, your browser will get invoked and will navigate to this URL. Okay, so we till now we have successfully invoked the browser. I'll show you in a minute, but any questions till now? Yes, Nishta? Okay. Moving ahead. So, what do you do when you first start testing? Okay. What, like, whenever I have to start testing a new application, what I do is after just opening a page, I verify its title. Let's say I just navigated to this, uh, let's say just I navigated to this Q&A curve. So what I do first thing is I'll just verify its title. So when I hover over it, you can see it shows you the title. Okay, if I go to this site, it gives me one title. If you go to some any other sites, let's say uh, flipkart.com, and hover over this, you will see you get a title: online shopping site for mobiles, fashion, books, electrics, and so on. You get the title. So first thing what we do is we always check that the title of the page is correct or not. Okay. Susie, you have a question. Why do you use HTTPS always instead of HTTP? Where I've used? Okay, you're saying why do we use? So these are two different type of protocols. HTTP is a normal protocol and HTTPS is a secured version of HTTP. Some of the websites are created to work only with HTTPS. They uses some kind of encryption, especially your sites where you have to log in. You if you have to log in with into something, you will observe that all those websites are HTTPS website. They are secured website. Okay, so it depends on how your developer and how your website is being created, whether you want HTTP or whether you want HTTPS. Okay, so that depends on that. We don't have any control over there. Whatever it will be, we have to use that. Okay, if it is HTTP, then you have to use HTTP. If it is HTTPS, then you have to use HTTPS. Okay. Okay. So, as I just told you that we'll be going to get the title of this page. So here I'll create one method and I'll name it public, and return type I'll keep as string because the title of the page which we have is a string. Okay, so I'll keep the return type as string, and the name of the method I'll put is get title of the page. Okay, so this is one method I'm creating. Okay, it does not take any argument, but it returns a string value. Okay, if I hover over it, you can see that it is saying the method must return a result of type string. Now I'll create one string variable here and I'll name it, let's say, title. Okay, and this title, how you'll get it from your browser. So my browser is identified with this driver variable. This variable has a method called get title. What this get title do? If I hover over this get title, it see the return type. The first letter what is return is the return type. So what it says that we are going to return a string value. Okay, so this particular method is written in Selenium. What it returns the title of the page as a string, and what we are doing, we are receiving that string value in this variable called title. And next, in this method, we'll return this value. So we'll say return, then what do we have to return? Title. So whenever your return type is other than void, this keyword called return is important, and whatever type you're mentioning here, that type of value should get returned. So here we are returning a value of type string. So the here you can see the value which is getting returned is a string value. Clear? Any questions, anyone? Okay, fine. Now I'll just write one more method and then we'll start its demo. Okay. So last method what I'll write, see what I've done is I invoked the browser. After that I just maximized it, deleted the cookies, navigated to particular URL, and then I also got the title of the page. Then I just want to close my browser. I don't want to proceed. So public void, I'll give the name as public void, and the name of the method I'll put as uh, close browser. What is happening? Okay, the name of the method I've written is close browser. Now, Selenium provides us two methods to close browser. One is simply driver.close and second is driver.quit. Okay, what this close do and what this quit do? It's your first interview question. And the question is, what is difference between close and quit? So what this close do? Close closes the current active window. Okay, say for example, you started working on this browser, you invoked a browser, there is a page open, now you want to click on any link. As soon as you clicked on any link, a new page opens up in a new tab. And like this, you have multiple tabs open. But only one tab can be active at a time, not all. So this close will close only the current active window. Whereas this quit, it closes all the active windows. Okay, all the windows, sorry, not active, all the windows which were open in this session. Okay, it's not that if I have opened some of the websites as manually, so it's not that your Selenium will close those websites as well. No, it will only close the websites or the pages which is opened in this particular session. Your Selenium understands only that session which is opened by running this code. Okay, so if any of you has an experience in qtp, then you might face a difference here, because in qtp you can invoke your browser initially and then you can work on that. But here your Selenium code will open your browser and it identifies that browser only. You cannot uh, you cannot use an already open browser. You the browser will be opened by your code only. Clear? Any questions till now? So I'll keep only one method because both cannot work. Once your browser will get closed, then you don't have anything to close. So I'll keep only quit. What it do? Whatever browsers are opened by your Selenium, those will be closed by it. Okay. So we have written these three methods. Now we need a main method to execute them, right? As you know, in Java, everything starts with a main method. So I'll create another class in which I'll have my main method. So I'll create a class and I'll name it demo Chrome or demo working with Chrome. Okay, and we'll keep this public static void main checked here. Finish. And here, first of all, what is the first step? Okay, we have to create the instance of this class working with Chrome. Then only I'll be able to access these methods, right? So first step will be I'll create working with Chrome. Let's say WC. You can give any name to the variable equal to new working with Chrome. So I just created this. Now next will be wc.invoke browser. Just call the methods in sequential order the way you want to execute them. So it will be invoke browser, then get title, okay, and then wc.close browser. Now the title of the page, as it is going to return a string value, so I can create a string variable. Let's say title equal to this, and then we can simply print that title for now. So I'll say title of the page is title. Okay, so this gives me the title of the page. Okay, so just calling the methods which I've written in this class called working with Chrome. What all methods I've written? These are the three methods I've written: invoke browser, get title of the page, and close browser. Calling them in sequential order. Now this order matters. The order in which methods are written does not matter. The order in which methods are called, that's what matters. Okay, so here you can see I have called first of all invoke browser, then I have called get title of the page, and then I have called close browser. Any questions, anyone? Okay, so moving ahead, let's execute it. Let's execute this
Hey,
particular code.
Saurabh,
Yes, Anil, yes.
remember we wrote all these methods, right, which are required
Hmm.
for us to actually start the um, Selenium running, right, for a particular application.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do we need to remember all this every time?
It will be good if you remember them, but again, actually, I'll come to that point from where you can get all these methods. Okay,
Okay,
if you have to start in your project, then it's not. Anyways, you'll remember them once you'll practice them, because I remember almost
yeah,
all the
okay,
methods which I use on daily basis. Okay, so I don't have a concrete answer. It's up to you if you want to remember or not. Otherwise, just Google what you need and you'll get your answer. It's as simple as that.
okay, all right, okay, thank you. But is it worthwhile to store all this in the form of a property file or something like that where we can use that?
These method names or what? Or these
Yeah.
variables and all. Yeah, variables and all I'll keep like in our frameworks we'll move everything to property files, but these methods will remain
Mhm.
here only. You will call from here only.
Okay, but it will be stored centrally somewhere within your framework where we can use them,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes. If you want, I can
Okay.
just give you a small demo of that. So here, if you look at, uh, this is one of my framework which will develop. So if you look at this particular framework, we have something known as common libs. You can see a long list of classes. And if you go to each and every class, like if I go to common driver, then you can see all these things are already written. So you just have to invoke the methods. So this will be the complete thing you need to work with Selenium. If you want to start in your project, Once we'll be ready with the framework, then you can directly use these methods in your project. You don't have to even change anything, just add on will you can do, but you can directly use them in your frameworks. That's how it is written. I mean, they're not specific to any application. They are independent. You can directly use them in your project
Okay, so these are the common ones,
of
which is
Selenium.
specific to browser-based applications, right?
Yeah, this common driver is specific to browser. Similarly, to
Mhm.
work with the drop downs, we have this class. Then to work with JavaScript, we have this. To work with mouse related
Mhm.
operation, we have this. Like this, I've divided into multiple classes.
Okay, all right, okay. Yes, thank you.
Just a glimpse what you were asking. Yeah,
Yeah,
but we are
okay, it's
too
fine. Thank you.
like it's too early to discuss that, so we'll go step by step. Okay. Okay. Any other questions, anyone? Okay. Then I'll execute this code and will execute whatever is there. Right click, run as Java application. Okay, so you can see that in browser is invoked. Now, if you look at it was opened with a small size, then it got maximized. Now it is navigating to facebook.com. Okay, and it closed the browser. Look at the console. Okay, look at the console. You're getting something in red, and then you are getting the title of the page. So we asked our code to write the title of the page. So here is the title. Title of the page is this. Now, what is this line? This line is a is a is a log which is getting printed here. It gives us some information. Okay, what it is saying is that starting Chrome driver, the exe version is 2.28. Okay, so this is the same exe version which we downloaded from Chrome. Okay, here the latest version is 2.232. So when you will use it, you will get 2.32. But as I'm using the older version of this exe, for me the version is 2.28. Okay, and it also gives you the port number on which this Chrome browser is getting invoked. So this Chrome browser is getting invoked on 1893 port number. Every time it might change, and it also gives us some session ID, which will also change and will always be a random and unique value. Okay, look at this thing. This is something which you can ignore. It is something which is internal, which is simply saying that I have created a session. Okay, and then whatever you ask you to do, it will do. So it's not any error. These are some logs which are getting printed when you invoke this code. Okay, and you might have observed how things worked. So a browser was invoked, it was not maximized, then it got maximized because we called one method called this maximize, and then we printed the title of the page. Here is the title of the page, and then we close the browser. Okay, so this is our first call flow. Any questions, anyone? Okay. So let's have break for 7 minutes now. It's 11:30, so 1 hour is is done, and I have to start with a new topic as well. So let's have a break for 7 minutes, and after that, I'll introduce you to some more methods which can be performed directly on the browser, and then we'll start identifying elements and start interacting with them. Elements as in whatever you see on this, like these links you see, this text box you see, this button you see, these text box, this button, will start interacting with them. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so let's have a break for 7 minutes and then we'll start with it. Okay, so we can continue now. A quick yes if you all can hear me. Okay, thanks for the confirmation. Let's start now. Okay, so I'm going to start with some of few more commands which we have. Okay, like one of the command we have is uh, there is one more get command. So I'll quickly write its method. So it will be public string, and the name of the command is get current URL. I'll tell you what is the benefit of this method. But what it do is it returns us the current URL of the page. Okay, so it will be driver dot get current URL. Okay, now here you can see earlier when I was getting the title of the page, there I was creating one variable and then getting that value and then returning it. But here I'm directly returning the value. Whatever current URL I'll get, I'll just return it. So these are two different ways. In one, we are creating a variable. In second, we are just directly returning the value. What this method do? This method get, that is get current URL. Now many a times will automate few scenarios where, let's say I'm on this page, I'll go and click on somewhere. Let's say I just went and clicked on this tutorials. Okay, or I just went and clicked on this. So what will happen? Its URL will change. Okay, now I want to know what is the URL of the page. I'm not sure after clicking on the link where I navigated to. Okay, so I want to fetch the I want to fetch the URL of this particular page. So for that, what we can call the method is get current URL. It will give you the current URL, whatever is there at that time. Okay, so this is one more method. Any questions? So I can simply add that here. So I can say system.out.println, and here I can say current URL of the page is uh, method is driver dot, sorry, not driver, sorry, what is that, wc dot get current URL. Okay, I'll just remove this. Okay, so what it will do when I'll execute this code, right click, run as Java application. So you'll see that it will also print the URL, and it will also print along with the HTTP protocol. Okay, so here you can see URL of the page is also printed, and that is https www.facebook.com. Okay, any questions, anyone? Okay, then I have few navigate commands, okay, which I'll just write after this get. Okay, navigate commands, and those navigate commands are, I'll go by one. One is driver dot navigate dot to, and what it takes again the URL. I mean the same URL which we have passed here. Okay, let's say I pass any other URL, http colon double slash www dot qa.techhub.com. Now, what is this command and what is this command? Actually, these two commands, driver.get, then inside you're passing in URL, or driver.navigate.to, and then you're passing the URL. These two commands are exactly the same. Okay, they calls exactly same line of code. They do exactly same thing, just two different commands to perform same operation. There is no difference at all. This will also take you to a particular URL. This will also take you to a particular URL. The only difference you can see is here I just have to call one method and here you're calling multiple methods. Okay, so two methods to perform same operation. Okay, clear? Any questions here? So if I navigate the code now, okay, anyone has any questions here? Okay, so if I navigate now, I mean execute the code now, you will see first it is maximizing. After maximizing, it will navigate to facebook.com. Then it is taking us to QA Hub. Okay, then it will print the title and then close the browser. So this time you can see the title is printed for QA Hub and page the current URL it gave was qatechhub.com. Okay, so this is another way of navigating to a URL. Okay, any questions, anyone? Okay, next is uh, next command we have is if you look at any browser here, you see that there are three buttons. One is a back button, one is a forward button, and then we have a refresh button. What these three buttons do? This back will take you one step back to the browsing history. This forward, this takes you one step forward to the browsing history. Then this we have a refresh button, and once I press this or this refresh button, it reloads the page. These are the three things we can achieve through these three buttons. So for these three things, we have some navigate commands. Look at them one by one. So we have driver dot navigate dot back. What this will do, it will take you one step back to the browsing history. If you'll not have anything to go back, then it will not do anything. It will just be there. Okay. Similarly, to go forward to browsing history, it will we have a method called forward. So again, it will take you only when you have something to go forward. And at the last, we have another navigate command, and that is navigate refresh. What this will do, this will reloads the page. Okay, so this will uh, navigate to you to a particular URL. This will take you back to the browsing history. This will take you forward to the browsing history, and this will just simply reload your page. That's all they do. Any questions? I'll give you a demo of it now. But before that, any questions, anyone? Okay, so let's execute the code now. Right click, run as Java application. So you can see it has invoked the browser, maximize the browser, now navigate it to facebook.com. We'll go to QA Hub. Now we have called back, so they'll go back to facebook.com. Then forward, so again come to QA Hub, and then uh, print the title, print the URL, and close the browser. Clear? Any questions, anyone? So these are few of the basic commands which I wanted to explain. Okay, so remember them. If we quickly go through all of the commands we have seen till now. Okay, so first thing was I declared a variable with the name driver. It is of type Chrome driver. Then I initialized it. Okay, now look at one more benefit of defining this way. One was in between I was able to set the system property, and second, this Chrome driver which I have defined, now I have defined outside a method. So this particular driver is available within this class everywhere. If I would have invoked it inside this, then the scope was limited to invoke browser. You would not have been able to use it outside. Okay, again what we discussed yesterday, scope of the variables. As it's an instance level variable, that means it is available in the complete class in all the methods of this particular class, whereas the variable which will define inside a method, they'll be available within that method only, will not be available outside. Okay, look at whether we are doing the way we learned yesterday or not. Yesterday we discussed about what is a class. A class is something which has only two things, a state and a behavior. States were the variables and behavior were the methods. Are we writing anything outside that, inside that class? Are we writing anything else? No, we are just writing, we are creating variables and we are writing methods. Whatever logic we have, that we are writing inside the methods. Similarly, look at this particular class. This particular class also has same thing. It has only one method, but the method here is main method. Okay, we are not writing anything outside that main method. Now, invocation always starts with this main method. So whatever you have written inside, it will execute one by one. Okay, if I come here, what I've done is initialize the Chrome browser, after that maximizing, because I don't know uh, whether my window will be maximized or of some small size. So I'm not taking risk, always maximizing it. Okay, then deleting all cookies, navigating to a particular URL, then few navigate commands, getting the title of the page, getting the current URL of the page, and then closing the browser. So these are few commands we have learned. Now, one of the interview question is, what is the difference between close and quit? Very simple. Close will close the current active window, whereas quit will close all the windows which are open. Okay, so these are the few commands we have discussed. Any questions now? Okay, now moving ahead, next one more thing I can take here, and then we'll start identifying elements. Okay, one more thing here, if you see, I have just maximized the window. What if I want to set the size of the window? Okay, I'll try to explain why you need that. Okay, now there is something known as responsiveness of your website. Have you heard of this term, responsiveness of your website? I mean, responsive websites. Have you heard of these terms? Anyone? Yes, no, maybe. Anil, you're saying no. Anyone else has heard of this responsive websites? Yes, Poonam. So what is responsive websites? You can unmute and tell.
Compatible to all devices. It's
Perfect.
compatible to all devices, like
Perfect.
mobile.
Perfect. So, what are responsive websites? When you develop any website, it is created such a way that if you open it in my normal browser, it opens properly, or if you open it in a mobile, it opens properly. It does not like things does not get uh, hidden, or they are not distorted when you open it in a mobile or you open it in a tab and like that. So that's what responsiveness is. Okay, now how can you test your responsiveness without actually opening it on a real device? For that, on your Chrome browser, just press F12. It opens up something known as console. Okay, it's a developer's console. It gives us many features. Okay, one of the feature here is that there is this button, second button, which says toggle device bar. Click on it, you will see what I'll do. I'll just take it out. Okay, I'll just say, actually, this particular console, you can set it at multiple ways. You can just uncheck it out. I mean, you can take it out as well. Okay, so I'll move it to my next other screen so that I can show you properly. So here, look at this. Okay, here it is saying a word responsive. If you see this drop down, you will see that many of the standard device are mentioned here. Galaxy S5. If I click on it, it will open up a screen which is actually the size of S5. See my website. Is it breaking anywhere? No. My website is created such a way that it can be opened in almost all the website. It's created as a responsive website. Similarly, from the drop down, if I select any other device, let's say iPhone 6, you can see that again it is coming properly. Okay, and if I say iPad Pro, you can see it is coming properly. Nothing is breaking here, right? You can look at the website, nothing is breaking, everything is visible properly. Okay, according to the screen size though. Okay, now if you want it to be to set any other size other than the standard size, just click on responsive and then here you can enter. Okay, as recently I came to know that the Surface, like there is a device called Surface, they have a resolution of somewhere around 2400 by somewhere around 1800. I mean, it's somewhere near to this. If I select this, you can see that my website is now, I mean, the screen size, if you look at, it has opened in that resolution. And you can see that it's still coming perfect. That means my website is responsive enough. Okay, so to test it, actually you have to set the size of your window accordingly. Okay, and how will you get to know what is the resolution of your screen? uh, the screen on which I'm working on currently, if I want to check its resolution, then it is right click on the desktop and then display settings. Okay, let it open. Okay, and here if you look at here is the resolution. If you click down, you will get all the standard resolutions we have. Okay, if I just change it to anything else, my screen will get changed to that. If let's say I change it to 800 by 600, you will see that my screen size is changed to something like this. Okay, so these are the different screen sizes, and from here you can get the standard ones as well, like 800 by 600, 1025 by, and so on. Okay, and new devices which are coming, they have higher resolution. The higher you go in the number, higher is the resolution. Okay, so we can test our application on this Chrome browser using this feature which I just mentioned, that is responsiveness. How? You can set the size of the window. Okay, now I'll come back, I'll make it normal. Okay, we'll refresh it, it will come back to normal. I'll just close the developer. Now in our code, what you have to do that. Okay, in my code, before I maximize, what I'll do, I'll set the size of the screen. Okay, any questions, anyone? Okay, so just like this method called maximize, we also have a method to set the size. And how will we do that? It will be driver dot manage dot what we have to manage window and what we have to do set size. It takes one argument with name dimensions. Okay, so what I'll do here, I'll define the dimensions of that screen. So there is a class called dimension. You have to take one from org.openqa.selenium. Okay, don't take anything else. You have to take one from org.openqa.selenium. Okay, I'll create one variable of it. Let's say I'll name it dim equal to new dimension. Okay, with the constructor of that takes two argument. Okay, now this constructor is a parameterized constructor. Now, uh, Anil, yesterday you asked me this question that why we need a parameterized constructor when we can work with a normal one. Okay, so I guess you asked this or who
Yep.
asked this? Yeah. So look at this now. This example can explain you. Now, let's say I want different dimensions. Maybe I want different resolutions. Maybe I need, if I just press F12. Okay, let's say I want any one of this size. Let's say this I want or this one I want. Okay, so whatever values we have here, we can define our variables with those values. Let's say I want 320 by 568. So here I'll say this width is this one, that is the horizontal axis, and height is the vertical axis. So here we have is width is 568 and height is, sorry, yeah, height is 568 and width is 320. Okay, so here I'll say 320 by 568. Okay, so this variable which is dim, it will get invoked with this size, and if you pass this variable here, your window size will be whatever you'll pass here. Similarly, you can just create another variable. Let's say you call it galaxy dimensions. Okay, and you can set some other size, maybe 1000 by 568. And now if you want this one, you can just pass this one here. Okay, so uh, whatever variable I'm creating, by default, whatever values it is taking, it is setting those values. So that's one of the example
So
where you
this
can use.
dimension, sorry,
Mhm.
Saurabh, just a quick question.
Mhm.
So this dimension is actually the screen resolution that it's looking at?
Yes, yes. Okay, so it is like a
Okay.
mathematical thing, like this dimension as the screen size, what you see here. So I'll show you. I'll just uncomment this maximize thing. For now, I'll comment it. And now I'll run my code with this dimension. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's run it with dim. Okay, I'll run my code with dim now. Right click, run as Java application. So earlier what was happening after this, it was getting maximized, but now you will see that it has not maximized, but it has changed its size. Look at the size. The size is something which we were seeing in the Chrome browser, right? Everything else will work fine. We'll go to Facebook, then it will go to Q&A Cup. You can see it as opening properly as well. Go back to Facebook, then uh, come back to Q&A Cup, and then print the title and then close the browser. Yeah. Okay, so that's how you can set the different size of the screen. So why we need that? Like if somebody asks you why you need this set size method, so your answer should be to check my website on different sizes, and what it is known as, what it is called as responsive testing, responsiveness of your website. You're testing responsiveness of your website through this. Okay. So Anil, I just run it. Do you want me to run it again or okay, you want me to rerun?
I
Yeah.
just wanted to run it again.
Okay, okay. So I'll rerun it.
My screen froze a bit, that's why.
Okay, no problem. I'll rerun it. Right click, run as Java application. So you can see now it's not maximized. It has a small size screen. Again, so Facebook is open now. We'll go to Q&A Hub. Then whatever we asked it to do, it will do all those things. Clear? Any questions here?
Thank you. Yeah, no, I just wanted to see.
No problem. Okay. Any other questions, anyone? So I'll just remove this and we'll uncomment this. Okay. Okay, Poonam, your question, no, but sometime it takes too much time to load. Chrome browser, you're saying? Actually, Poonam, that there is a problem going on my system. My memory is out. I mean, if you look at the task manager, my memory utilization is going very high. I got a fix of that for my system, but I need to fix it. Like it needs a restart and some time. Okay, so that's the reason it is taking time. Otherwise, if you'll run it in your system, it will not. Okay, you're saying one URL and then in the okay, that time is page load timeout. We'll discuss about that later on in detail. That is something because of your application, not because of our code. Okay, so we'll discuss about that in detail. Okay, and Nishta, you have a question: is it mandatory to mention any protocol? Yes, it is. It is. It is important. Otherwise, it will throw an exception. So if you see, if I change it to www.facebook.com and execute the code now, you will see it will simply throw an exception. Will come. Let me just show you once it comes. So see, it's not navigating to any URL because here it has thrown an exception, and look at the exception, what it says. So yeah, it's saying unknown error inspector error cannot navigate to invalid URL. So it is stating that the URL we are passing is an invalid URL. Okay. So it's important to put this protocol always. Yes, Anil, you have any questions?
Yeah, just quickly, this today's code that we've written, right?
Mhm.
Is it possible? I mean, can we run this in debug mode,
Yeah, yeah.
or is it not possible?
No, no, it's possible. I was okay. I'll show you.
Okay.
Okay. So, but yeah, probably.
I was just confused about how the control is going to the
Okay, okay, fine.
different types of
Fine, I'll show
activities.
you. But the only problem will come is that uh, those two things, like your browser and this code was running in parallel, and I cannot share both the screens. So you just have to adjust accordingly. I mean, I'll try to show you, but the thing is, I can share only one screen.
Okay.
Like when I'll run it in debug mode, things will be happening on the browser. So you'll not be able to see them properly, but I'll try to show you here. See, from where you want to put the debug mode, let's put it at invoke browser. Okay, fine.
Mhm.
So I'll run it in debug mode, and it's very important to learn this debug mode. If you are able to run your code in debug mode and see what is happening, whatever error you will get, you will be easily be able to resolve them. Okay, so running your code in debug mode is very important, and generally if you have two screens for that, things become very easy. Okay, now look at this. When it got invoked here, the line number 9, what it is saying, working with Chrome, I'm just creating an instance of this class working with Chrome. Okay, look at here, this is the variable. If I open it, in that we have two variables defined, one is driver and second is URL. So here we have defined one as driver, which is of type Chrome driver, and second is URL. As in the start only I have assigned the value of URL. You can see that URL has a value. Okay, but driver, it's null for now. Null means nothing is there. Okay, now I'll press F5. What it will go to, it will take me to invoke browser. So as I pressed F5, I'm inside this now. Okay, as I press F5 again, one of the system variable is set. Okay, so you'll not be able to see that variable because that is set at system level. But look at this. In this particular class, we have two variables. One is driver and second is URL. URL has a value, whereas this driver, it's null for now. As soon as I press, now at line number 16, don't press F5 because this method, that is Chrome driver, this is from Selenium and we don't have source code of Selenium. We have just executable files. So I will not be able to go inside this Chrome driver class. So what I'll do, I'll just press F6. Okay, what happened? Where is my control? Okay, you can see that browser has invoked it and it has initialized it, and the browser is open now. Okay, it took some time, that's why. But here you can see that variable is also updated from null to Chrome driver. Okay, because of this line. Okay, so what this line do, as I told you that this line will initialize your browser as well as will open the browser. So here you can see my browser is also opened and here driver is also updated with Chrome driver. It has many parameters which you might not understand now. It has many capabilities and many things. For now you'll not be able to understand any of the thing. For just like minimize it and see that this driver is initialized with Chrome driver. If it will be Mozilla driver, it will come here as Firefox driver. If it will be Internet Explorer, then it will come as Internet Explorer driver. Okay. Now, any questions till now? Anyone?
No.
Okay. So I am at this particular location. My code is this. So when I execute this particular command, another variable is created with name dim, and if you look at it, it has two variables in it. One is height and second is width. Look at the values. Height is updated by 568 and width is updated by 320. Okay, so when I execute this particular command, okay, what it will do, it will change the size of the screen. So you can see size of the screen is changed to this. Okay, now okay, let me run it like this only. So next command is to maximize. So as soon as I press F6, it will maximize the window. So here you can see it has maximized as well. Okay, now I'll go to my next command. Next command is to navigate. Okay, navigate to what? The URL. What URL passing? www.facebook.com. So as soon as I execute this command, you will go there. You can see that facebook.com is executed. Okay, it has navigated to facebook.com. Okay, next is I have asked it to go back. Okay, next is to navigate to QA Hub. Again, I'll press this. You will see navigate to it navigated to QA Hub. Okay, so it is performing each and every line one by one. This way, you can navigate to each and every statement and get to know what exactly is happening. Like here, if I again press F6, it will take you back to facebook.com. Here you can see. Okay, now in real time, you'll keep your code and your the other thing in parallel. Generally, most of the thing people have dual screen, so they can run it properly. Okay, so you just keep on executing command one by one. Okay, and then things will start executing. So here I refresh the code. As soon as I refresh, it takes me back to this. So my invoke browser was run successfully. Next, I'll go to title of the page. Okay, so here I just pressed F6. So as I pressed F6, it has not taken me inside this method. And here, if I hover over it, you can see it has given the title. And title is QA/QA. Okay, this command will simply print it. This command will print the current URL. And when we have to close, so I'll again go to F5. So if I go F5, it has taken me here. Okay, now I am at quit. So as soon as I press F6, you will see that that browser was closed. Okay, I can press F8, it will resume the code, and then we can terminate the session and come back to this. So got an idea that how things are navigating. So from here it will start, we'll go to invoke, we'll go inside that invoke, we'll execute all these commands. Then once that are done, come back here, executes this title of the page, then printed the title, printed this, and then we executed the closed browser. So like this, it is just calling methods from other class. Any questions here? Anyone?
Thank
Anil, is
you.
it clear now? Okay. Okay. So anyone has any questions? Okay, fine. Next is I'll close all of this. Next topic I'll start is identifying web elements on the screen. Okay, that is a new topic which we are going to start. I want to start it because at least after that I'll be able to give you one small assignment. Okay, and you will get a week to practice that. And yeah, so the topic is we have to identify elements on the screen. Okay, see, I'll just click back on normal, make it normal. Okay. For that, for working with for the next topic, I'll be automating few scenarios on a website which is demo.guru99.com/v4. It's a demo site provided by Guru99. Okay, Guru99 is a wonderful website to learn anything you want in automation or testing. You can learn from there. It's a wonderful site. It has also provided us with some of demo websites where you can practice. Okay, uh, I'm just starting with this demo website because it's a very easy website and people learn more when we start with the easy website. Okay, so I want you to start with the website, we'll automate it in couple of days, and then we'll move to some typical website, or you can say a serious or a real-time website. Okay, now here if you look at this particular site, let me do one thing. Let me open it in incognito mode. Okay, so when I open this page, now you can see that on this website there are many things like user ID has a text box, password has a text box, then there are buttons like login button, reset button. Then we have a link below, visit here. Here is a link. Okay, and there are some text available here, like we have a heading, we have these text. So whatever you see on this screen, they are known as web elements. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to interact with these web elements. I want to write something in this user ID, I want to write something in password, and then I want to click on the button. How can you do that? To interact with these elements, first you have to identify them. Okay, to identify them, Selenium provides us some 8 locators or identifiers. What it provides? It provides us 8 locators or identifiers. So yeah, this is one link. I'm just sharing it. So Selenium provides us 8 locators or identifiers. You can call them anything. Those are ID, name, class name, tag name, link text, partial link text, CSS selector, and XPath. These are 8 locators and identifiers. Out of these, today we are going to start with first 4. Next two, this is link text and partial link text. These are specifically for links. CSS and XPath are advanced topics and most important topics. Okay, so I'll start with the first 4 first. ID, name, class name, and tag name. Okay, so these are four identifiers or locators which can be used very easily. Okay, so I'll start with it now. Before I start with this ID, name, class name, and tag name, I want to give you a small idea about how uh, how an HTML page looks like. Okay, so I'll just open Notepad++. Okay, so I'll do press Control N, a new file. Just give me a second. I have to drink water. Just give me a second. Okay, so this is an empty page I've created. Now in this, I'll create one HTML page. Okay, so what is HTML? Okay, if you look at any web page, if I simply press F12 here, if you look at any page, every every website has this HTML page. Look at this. Here we have an HTML page starting with this HTML tag, ending with an HTML tag. Inside this, we have head, body, and so on. Whatever website you'll see, every website is written in HTML. What is this HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It's a language which is used by your web browser to render things on the browser. Okay, so we should have a good idea about how elements are available in an HTML page. Okay, so I'll give you a small idea. First of all, on this Notepad++, I'll change the language to HTML. So here in the language, go to H and then change it to HTML. Okay, now whatever you'll start writing, it will give you hint as well. So see, HTML. Okay, this hypertext markup language, everything inside this are tags. Whatever you'll write inside tags. The first starting tag is always this HTML. And the last tag is also HTML. Whatever code you'll write inside this will actually come on your page. So this HTML has two tags, or you can say two childs. One is body, one is head. First one is head, and second one is body. Okay, so whatever you add inside this head, they are like headers, and whatever you add inside this body is like a body of the page. Okay, like I can add the title here. I have a title. I can say title. Uh, Inside this title, you can give the title. Let's say the title of the page is QA Tech Hub or Demo Page. Okay. Now I'll save this file. You can save it with any name. Let's say on desktop, I want to save it with name uh, demo. Okay, demo.html. Okay, I've saved this file. Okay, now when I go to desktop and just open it. Okay, one thing, right click, open with. You can choose the browser as well. So when I open it in Chrome browser, look at this. When I hover over this, see the title QA Tech Hub hyphen a demo page. So whatever we gave in that is the title is printed as the title. Okay. Now inside this body, you can render elements on that page. For example, I want there are some six headings. So if you see H1 to H6, there are six level of headings. Like I say, uh, welcome to QA Tech Hub demo page. Okay, so if I just save this file now, and here if I'll refresh this page, okay, just a second, I guess I closed that. Yeah. No. If I refresh this page, you can see that the title or heading has appeared. Okay, so whatever you'll write inside this body will start appearing here. Okay, like one of the thing we have is input. Okay, I write input, then I end it with input tag. Okay, inside this, let's say I just write username or first name. Okay, I've just written first name. Save this file. Here if I refresh it, you can see, okay, I guess this has to be put before it. Yeah. So as I save this file, I refresh it, you can see first name, then a text box is created. Okay. So input is a type of tag which is used to take input values. Okay. Now just think of all the input types. We have a text box as input, we have a checkbox as input, we have a radio button as input. Okay, like right. So all these input type of tags, how they distinguish, how you say that okay this is a text box, then how you say okay this is text box, now I want a radio button. Okay, so in this tag we pass some attributes. Okay, what are attributes? Attributes is some extra information which we give to these tags which make them special. Like one of the attribute I'm passing here is type equal to radio. Okay, as soon as I press Ctrl S and refresh here, you will see that the text box is now changed to radio button. If I come here and change this radio to checkbox and press S and Ctrl F here, you can see that it has changed to now a checkbox. You can check and check it. And if I change it back to text box, save it, and you can see that it has changed back to text box. Okay, so I'll just here let's say I give you an example of radio button. So I'll say radio, change here to radio. Okay, then this I changed to checkbox. Come here, refresh it, you can see all the three are added. Let's say you want all of them in a new line. So what you can do, you can put a break /br. Okay, this br is a tag which does not need a starting tag, it only need an ending tag. If come here, refresh, you can see all the three are coming in vertical lines. Okay, so that's how in HTML code is written which get renders on the page. Okay, now what is this type equal to this is the attribute. Like this you can have any number of attributes. Some of the attributes add some feature to it, like here when I change it to type equal to text box, it made it a text box. But there are some of the attributes which are internally used by your developers to identify them, because on a single page you can have, let's say, n number of text box. Let's say you have 5 text box. How will your developer know which text box you're talking about, right? So they also uses some attributes. Few of the attributes are which are common. One is id. Okay, id is used very frequently. Let's say user id. Okay, and so when I add this id here, nothing will change. I refresh the page, nothing will change. But this particular uh, checkbox now can be identified using one of the ID known as user ID. Okay, so these ID, and similarly we have something known as name, let's say radio. So these are some attributes. So when I was talking about the locators in Selenium, ID, name, class name, and tag name. Okay, so first three are available as attributes in your code. Okay, so here you can see I have an ID equal to user ID. So this is one, this is available as one attribute for me. Similarly, I have name equal to radio. This is again one attribute available to me. Okay, so when you have to locate using first three ID, name, and class name, those will be available as attributes in your HTML code. Look at here, first name we have this, radio has name attribute. And the fourth one is this tag name. Tag name is this input, this h1, this body. Okay, tag name is not a very good way because generally you will have multiple elements with the same tag name and it become very difficult to identify your element. So tag names are generally not used, but first three, that is ID, name, and class name, they are directly available. So here you can see it has an ID, it has a name. Similarly, some of the element might be having an attribute called class. Let's say red check. You can give any name, any value. Okay, so some of the attribute might be having this class attribute. So if you have this class, then you can use class name. If you have name, then you can directly use name. If you have ID, then you can use ID. Okay, you can use tag name, but tag names are not a good way because generally we'll have multiple tags, like multiple elements with same tag. Okay, so this is how you will identify. Next, we have to learn how to use them in Selenium. Before that, anyone, any questions? Okay, other things in this HTML will learn with time, not directly. I mean, I'll take you to other components like when we'll work with drop down, when we'll work with links. I'll discuss that time because in one go, if I discuss, then you might forget as well. So as and when we'll go to a particular topic, we'll discuss about that particular element. Okay, so for now, we know that input are of for input, and this type decides what you want, whether it's a text box or a radio button or a checkbox. Similarly, you can have button as well, and so on. Okay, now comes the next point. Here I created the HTML, so I know, but the website which you are going to automate, they must be having their own HTML page. So next step comes that how will you uh, uh, check the HTML code of any website. So any website you have, just press F12 on that website. If you are on Chrome or any other browser, just press F12. Look at here. This browser has opened whatever is there in that website. So here you can see it has an HTML, starts with an HTML, ends with an HTML. Inside that we have head. Inside that we have a title, then H1, then input, then input type, and check box. Okay, so this is how you can check any HTML page. Now this is very simple. Let's go to a proper website. Let's say I'm going to demo.guru99.com/v4, and if I press F12 here, you can see that for this particular page, this HTML code is given here. Okay, so you can see uh, it has an HTML starting with this. Even your HTML has a class. Then inside this we have a head, and then we have a body. Inside body we can have divs, tables, forms, many things. There are many things in it. Okay. Now you can use this tool as well, that's the developer tool of your Chrome, but for starting few days, till the time you become good in identifying elements, let's use another wonderful tool, but that comes only with Mozilla Firefox, and the name of the tool is Firebug and Firepath. Okay, let's practice on that, and once we are good at writing the elements, finding the elements, then we can use any of the browser. Even you can use now also, but just a recommendation, if you practice through Firebug, things become more easy. Yes, Sai, you have any question?
Yeah, we're going to use Firebug and Firepath to locate elements.
Mhm.
So can we also use IDE? Is there a difference, and is it better than Firebug?
IDE. Which
Yeah,
ID?
Selenium IDE.
Okay, Selenium ID.
Selenium.
Selenium ID. Okay, you're saying that I'll just record and get the locator, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
that would be easier, I guess.
no, they are not easy, but they are more complex, I believe. And another reason you cannot use is because the latest version of Mozilla has stopped supporting IDE.
Yeah, yeah, only 53, I guess, supports.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I mean, using ID, the locators or things you'll get, okay, you can use them, but then you'll not learn. Okay, it's better if you can use either the developer mode or you use Firebug and Firepath. That way, you'll also learn how to identify elements. Okay,
Okay,
otherwise,
fine.
if you use ID, they'll give you cooked thing. We want to learn how to cook. Okay, trying
Okay.
getting the point here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so either you can use this developers tool also. So here you can see that it has this button. If I just after pressing it, if I hover around things, here you can see when I just selected this, it gave me the particular point. Okay, so you can use this tool also, but for few days I recommend you to go through Firebug and Firepath because the way elements are represented in that are little uh, more you can say presentable. Okay, so I'll just install Firebug and Firepath now. Okay, so just open Mozilla Firefox. Okay, and then on Mozilla Firefox, here you see this, go to this menu. Okay, in the menu there is an option of add-ons, so go to add-ons. Okay, then you have to go to extensions or get add-ons. No, extension only. Go to extension and then search here for all add-ons. So just search Firebug. Okay, like if it will be available, then it is going to show you in my add-ons. If you want to search and install it for the first one, then it will be available in available add-ons. So you can see when I went to this with this word Firebug, there are many tools available. You have to install this one. That is this Firebug. Okay, so just search for this Firebug and there will be an option coming install. Click on install and this will get installed on your system. Similarly, then search for Firepath and install them. Install both of them. Once you install both of them, you have to restart your Mozilla Firefox. Okay, once you restart your Mozilla Firefox, then you will start getting this symbol here, this bug kind of symbol. Just remember one more point, Firebug alone, Firepath alone does not work. Firepath works only with Firebug. So you have to install Firebug before installing Firepath. Okay. Uh, so once you have installed it successfully, click on this button. I'll navigate to any site. Let's say this demo.guru99.com/v4. I navigate to this website and then I click on this Firebug button. So as soon as I click on it, you can see that it has opened a console which is quite similar to the one which we were getting in the Chrome browser, but here we have many things which were not available. Like in this HTML section, when you just click on this arrow and hover around, let's say I selected this, uh, the representation is much better here. You will get things better. And another thing is this feature of using Firepath. Okay, as I was discussing about different locators, one of the locator was, rather two locators were, one was CSS and second is XPath. So this CSS and XPath, they can only, to learn them, like how to identify them, this tools helps us a lot. So once we'll reach there, that time you'll appreciate that I can identify CSS and I can identify XPath very easily using this tool. Okay, for now I'll come back to this HTML. Okay, and you can see that when I just click on this arrow and hover around, things get start highlighting. Let's say I just want this login button. I'll hover over it and click on it. You can see its corresponding HTML code is highlighted. One more thing you will observe, when I hover around things, see when I am at this input, see the text box is highlighted. Okay, when I am over this table, see one of the table, I mean some area is getting highlighted. That means that is a table. Okay, so this way you can check your HTML code. Any questions here? Okay, next step for us is, uh, yeah, yes, you have any question?
Yeah, one small question. I mean, when finding element locators, if
Mm-hmm,
you take a normal Google website like google.com
mm-hmm,
and you enter anything in the text box,
mm-hmm,
so there's also a button, right? Like for Google search.
mm-hmm.
So that element locators, there are two element locators. For example, if you type anything like Selenium HQ
Mm-hmm.
and try to find an element locator for Google search button, it is totally different, I'll tell you.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's quite normal. I'll explain you how to handle those things. Okay, let
Okay,
me
okay.
start with it. I'll explain you those things. I got your point. You were saying that when you type something, then something else comes, and when you otherwise you get something else, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
So that I'll take care. I mean that I'll take care.
Okay,
Let me start. Let me go, and in a flow we'll reach there. Anyways,
okay.
you'll get your answer yourself only once I'll discuss the complete locators. Okay. So that's an example of actually a dynamic locator. I mean dynamic element. So we have many things to identify them. We'll learn with time. Okay. Any other questions? Anyone? Okay. Now before I start with this in our Selenium code, let's have a break now, and then we'll continue with the identifying elements. Okay. So any questions? Anyone?
Sir,
Yes. Yes, Anil.
so today you're taking till 6 o'clock, is that right?
Yeah, I'm in till 1:30 according to my time. 3 hours I was completing.
Okay, all
It's
right.
Is it too much?
I don't know. I mean, I'm happy to go with the majority flow.
Okay, because I just wanted to automate one small scenario that is just logging in into this, and I just have to take rest because I'm speaking from long, so I just want to take five
Okay,
minutes rest. Otherwise, I would have continued and just completed this scenario. So I'll just do one small scenario where I'll just log in with this username ID and click on login button, and then I can give you at least one assignment to practice for a week. Okay, so that's the purpose
okay,
of
that's fine.
this topic. Okay, so let's have break for let's rather than 7 minutes, let's have for 5 minutes, and probably I'll continue after that. Okay. Okay, so we can continue now. Okay, so let's start with the last topic. Okay, first thing, this website which we have, that is this demo.guru99.com. This is something which is provided by Guru99. It's a demo website. It's like a bank application, and for now I'll be just for today I'll just be doing its login part. And here if you see, um, we need credentials for this, username and password. So here you can look, see here that the steps to generate access, there is this link. If you click on it, okay, it takes you to this. Now here just enter any random email id, anything at anything.com. But if you enter your proper email id, then they also give 10 assignments, one on each day, and next day they also provides their uh, solution. So you can just give a proper email ID of yours. It will generate credentials for you, and then you can use those credentials. Also, they'll send you one assignment each day. Okay. If you don't want that assignment, then you can give any random num name and any random values, and that is valid for 20 days. Rather they work more than a month, but yeah, that's how you can get the access. It's saying that it is valid for 20 days, but it works more than a month. Okay, now coming back to this website, /v4, I'll just ping this URL to all. Okay, now we have this username and password with us. So this is the user ID. I'll copy it, paste it here, and this is my password. I'll paste it here, and then I click on login button. Once I log in, you can see it's saying Guru99 Bank, and when you see here we have a new customer where we can fill up the form, and then we have an edit customer where you can enter and edit the customer. Then there is an option of add account, new account. There you have drop downs. Okay, so on this website we have most of the things which we need to learn, especially this text box, radio buttons, checkbox, drop downs. So we'll practice them here because they are given very simple in a very simple format on this website. Once we'll practice them with the simple website, then we'll move to a typical one. Okay, but there are few scenarios which are a little complex here as well, that also will cover. Okay. Now I log out from the website, and where here we have is this page. What I want is I want to enter the username and password. So let's first write the logic or code to navigate to this site. Okay. So in my code, I'll start with this day 5. In the day 5, I'll create one class and I'll call it Guru99 project. Okay. And in this, again, you have to first identify the element, identify the browser, and then navigate to that. So what I'll do, I'll just copy it from the one which we have already written, because the code remains same, right? I'll just remove the unnecessary things, but the code will remain same. Okay. So the code which we have written today morning only, I'm just using the same one here. Just change it to demo.guru99.com/v4. First method, again I'm writing the invoke browser only. Okay, we'll remove all these things and we'll only keep maximizing the browser. And after that, I'll just remove all these things also. Don't need. Yeah. And I'll remove this. So I just have a small method where I'm identifying the browser, initializing it, maximizing, deleting all cookies, and then navigating to a particular URL. Now after navigating to a particular URL, next thing what I want is that I want to log in. So I'll create a method with name, public, void, and name of the method will be login. Okay. Now inside this we'll start. So here what we have to do is, let me open it in Mozilla. Yeah. So first of all, I have to look how this text box can be identified. So I'll just take this, hover around it. If you look at this, it is an input tag which has one attribute with the name and the value of name is UID. Then it also has max length as an attribute. It also has on key up as something as an attribute, another attribute, and then also has an attribute type equal to text. Okay, so these are some extra information which we are passing to this input uh, tag, right? Now just recall uh, what all identifiers we have. We have these four identifiers which we want to learn today: ID, name, class name, and tag name. So out of these four, do we have anything there? Yes, we have something known as name. So can I use name? Yes. So this name attribute I can use. So here, first of all, I'll create one web element. So there is a class called, uh, rather there is an interface. So for now you don't know about interface, so let it be. But there is a web element, you can consider it as a class only, and I'll create its instance. Let's say I'm calling it as user. User, maybe user text box. You can give any name. Let's say I'm giving a name user text box. Okay, we have to fill value to it. Now how will you put value? As I'm searching that element on my browser, so I'll say driver, then I'll call one method called find element. What it will take, it takes one like this is a method, find element is a method which will search for a web element. Okay, uh, by how it is going to search? By the criteria you will pass in the argument. And what is the criteria? Any one of the locator. Okay, and which all locator we have? We have these these 8 locators or identifiers. So you have to pass any one of them. So there is a class called by. Okay, you have to take one from org.openqa, which has implementation of all the identifier we are talking about. So if you look, first 8 method: class name, CSS selector, ID, name, tag name, XPath. So all those 8 identifiers I was talking about, their implementation is written in it. So I'll say name, and the value of name you have to pass as an argument. So the value of name is UID. I'll copy it, paste it here. So what this method is doing on my browser, I'm calling a method with name find element, which takes an argument. And what argument it takes? It takes one of the locator. The implementation of locator is written in by class, so we are passing by.name, and what argument it takes, whatever is the value of that locator you are using. So here, as I'm using name, its value UID it will take. So with one of the locator by.name, it will search. And that particular web element I'm putting in a variable or in an object which is of type web element. So this particular element now identifies the text box we have. Okay, any questions till now? If I quickly say what I have done is, on my web, like I'm searching for a web element and is storing it in one variable or one object which is of type web element. This web element is used to store web elements. Then on my browser, there is a method called find element. What this method do? It searches for the web element based on the criteria you will pass, and the criteria which I am passing is by.name or by.id, by.class name, by.tag name, and so on. And what it takes as an argument? As an argument, it takes its value. So the value is, for the name value, it's UID. Okay. Any questions, anyone? Okay. So next is, once I identify the element, next step will be to perform an operation on that element. Okay, so there are many actions which you can perform, like on this user text box. On a text box, what operation I can perform? I can write in a text box, I can clear, I can click. These are three methods I can think of which I can do in a text box, right? I can write, I can clear, and I can just go and click on it. Okay, so whatever operation I said, these are actions. Okay, so once I press a dot, you can see all those actions start coming. Clear, click, and then there will be when I have to write something, then there is a method called send keys. What this method do, it will go and write in that text box whatever you'll pass as an argument. And what we have to pass as an argument here, this is my user ID, so I'll just pass that value. This way I identified my uh, user, and then I performed one operation on it. Any questions? Yes.
Saurabh, what is the benefit of using user text box directly? We can write
Yeah,
driver.find element.
I was coming to that. Next point is that only. Okay. So as Sai said that why I'm creating this variable, why cannot I write directly? So you can do that directly as well. Like here, first I'm identifying an element and then performing an operation on it, right? You can do that in one go as well. That is driver dot find element. Let's say I want to search the next element as password. Okay, so one quick way to identify an element is click on that element, right click, and then there is an option inspect element with Firebug. Press that. It will automatically take you to that particular HTML code. Look at that HTML code. That is again of input type, okay, which has a name as password. So I'll just take this attribute name equal to password. So here I'll say by dot name, and the value is password. Okay, so this is my web element, right? This is my web element. Then I have to perform an operation on it. So you can directly perform an operation saying send keys and then give the value. So the value of my password is this. Okay, so I'll put here. So both are correct ways. Both of them are correct ways. The only difference is when on a particular web element you want to perform multiple operations, then you can store that in a web element and then perform. But if you want only one operation to be performed, then you can do this way. Like here, if I want to perform, first I want to clear and then do a send. Let's say I want to first clear it and then do a send keys. Then this is a way. If you want to just perform send keys, you can do it in one line. And other benefits I'll discuss once we'll go to framework. Okay, till we go to framework, we'll be using the second part, second way, so that we'll be just learning the way how to automate. But once we'll reach to frameworks, that time I'll discuss many benefits of defining web element like this and then performing operations. One of the benefit for now for you is if you want to perform multiple operations on an element, then this is a way. Clear, Sai? Getting an idea?
Yeah, I got it. It's for flexibility
Yes,
to
yes.
make it more. Yeah, okay.
Reusable. I mean, making your element reusable. Here you cannot, you
Yeah,
can use it once, but here you can use it multiple times. Other benefits
yeah.
we'll discuss in frameworks.
I think it's when we have a lot of changes and
Yes, yes.
then this will be useful.
Perfect, perfect. Actually, that is the main reason. Okay. Then, so I just identified my password and have written the password in it. Last thing will be I want to click on this login button. So I'll identify this. Here is my login button. Again, it's an input type and has a name as BTN login. So I can take this. Here I can again say, let me just copy it. Here the name is bdn login. So I'll copy it, paste it here, and then what operation you want to perform? You want to perform a click. So I'll just say dot click. So like this, you have to identify an element, then using the method called find element, whatever locator you're using, pass that, give its value, and perform the operation. Clear? Any questions, anyone?
Saurabh,
Yes, yes, Anil.
there the send keys, that is only meant for password, is it?
No, no, send here is the send case, here is the send case. So to type anything in a text box, in a text box, we have the send keys.
Yeah, but why didn't we use that in the name?
I've used here in the username also I've used the send keys. See, this is my text box. This is my user ID. Yeah, this is one of my text box. I identified it in an web element first and then performed this operation send keys. This is another way where we are not defining any web element but directly performing an operation. In both the cases, I'm calling send keys only. Uh, not
Okay,
clear? Not clear?
no, the reason being, see there, the first send keys, you are sending the password, isn't it?
No, this is username. This is username and this is password. See, I have two text box, right? This one is first text box and we have a second
Okay,
text box.
okay.
So to write in the
Okay, I
first
think
one,
I must have just slipped it out. Yes, agreed. Sorry.
okay, no problem, no problem. Okay, any other questions, anyone? Okay, so next will be I have to execute the code now. So again, I'll create one demo class. So here I'll say right click, new class, and I'll call it demo guru 99. Okay, we'll keep this public static void when checked here. Click finish. Okay, so here first of all I'll create an instance of Guru 99. So I'll say Guru 99 project, then any name, let's say Guru equal to Guru 99, and then I'll say Guru dot what is the first method, invoke browser, and then next is uh, login. So I'll say login. So first method will invoke the browser and second method will login. So I'll execute the code now. So you can see it has invoked the browser. And you can see that we have logged in successfully. Okay, so that's your first thing in it. Okay, now I have small assignment for you, and assignment is already there on the site. Okay, so just go to this assignment section. Okay, just a second. Yeah, here is the link. I'll directly give you the complete link. You can complete assignment number 1 and assignment number 2. Okay, so very easy assignments. Instead of Mozilla, you can use Chrome browser, and whatever we have done today, that's what you have to practice. And second one is uh, Second one is, I guess, login to Facebook is there. So you can now try logging into facebook.com. Okay, so if I quickly show you facebook.com. Okay, if I quickly show you here you have a text box, the second text box, and then a login button, right? So I'll right click and inspect element. You can see this particular input tag has ID, has class, and has name, all the three. You can use any one of the three. We know about all the three. So you can use ID, you can use name, and then for password again same thing, and then login. Okay, and after logging in, get the title of the page and see if the title of the page is correct or not. If you want to try extra, then you can just post one of the only one post you can post, saying maybe running this code through Selenium. If you want, that's fine. If you don't want uh, to do that, but yeah, at least you can try logging into facebook.com. So that's your first assignment. Okay, going forward, like once I need one more class, and after that I can give you at least 3 to 4 assignments on daily basis. For now, whatever I've just explained, just go through all of those and try facebook.com and try all those commands. That's what is needed. Okay, and in the next class, like after completing the next class, we'll have like n number of assignments to practice. I'll give you that time. So that's all for today. Any questions in any of the topic we have covered?
Saurabh, can you go back to the previous script that we have automated? You created one class, right? Yeah,
This
I
one?
didn't understand what is this. Yeah,
Hmm.
not this one. The class that we created, Guru Demo Guru 99.
Yeah, this one.
And yeah, yeah, I didn't understand what is this Guru 99 project and Guru dot invoke like.
Okay, so this is a project where, like as I told you, that this is the same thing I'm doing. Here I just created a class whose name I have given as Grundentinen project because I'll be doing many things in it. So just given this name. Okay, inside
Okay.
this, I have two methods, invoke browser and login. Now you need a main method as well, right? And as I told you that you can keep your main method in the same class also, but just to keep code neat and clean, I always prefer to create two classes, one which has only the logic and second which has the invocation part. So the second class is to invoke whatever we have written in that. That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Login. Okay, got it.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions, anyone?
Saurabh, just after the class, can you stick around for 5 minutes? I just was wondering if you could help me set up that Selenium jar file into the right location.
Yeah, sure, sure. Sure, no problem.
Yep.
I have to help you as well as Shubhanshu.
Yes, sir.
You need help in setting up the environment, or is it done for you?
Uh, I just want to install the JDK Java, but
You have installed that, or you want to install? I mean, you have to install it.
I installed that, but I have no idea how to install
Okay, okay.
Java.
Yeah, yes,
But
Shubhanshu. For that, we'll have a class on coming Saturday. I mean, I'll have a proper class with you because it needs complete 1 to 1.5 hour. So next Saturday morning 9 to uh, I mean 9, sorry, not 9. Yeah, somewhere around 9 or 8:30 we can have a class, proper class where you can do.
okay,
If
so
for you
let me
now,
inform.
if for now you have a setup, then you can go ahead and start whatever we have discussed today. If you want to learn why we do that and how we do that, that I'll have a proper
Mm-hmm.
class for you.
Okay.
Okay.
So would you upload the video today?
Yes, yes. Earlier video is uploaded. I guess you might have received the mail also. Actually, what happened yesterday was I just kept it for converting, and then forget to that plug in the power, and my system got got out of power and it got crashed. And I came in the evening to check that whether the video is recorded is there or not, but it was not there.
Okay, sir. I'll check.
Okay. Nishta, you have
Okay,
a
thank you.
question? No problem. Nishta, you have a question. I want just quick recap. In the starting 30 minutes, we discussed about the setup part. Okay, so I'll do that for Anil. So maybe you can look it in that. And for detail, you can go through the recordings. Yeah, it's easy thing, not something which very difficult. So you can go through recording. If you'll have any issues, send me a mail or we'll discuss. Okay, so anyone has any question now? Let me just stop the recording as well.